Hey everybody, it's Chief Gen X. How you guys doing? I've thought of some interesting sea stories come around. I've told a couple of them already, but I got one in particular I wanted to tell y'all about. One that made, when I came, I'll say a little background. I came in the Navy in 1986, a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far, far away. All right, 1986, I came in. I couldn't come in as a police officer at the time. I had to be a certain pay grade. So I came in as a sonar technician. Now, as a surface sonar technician, my main job was to hunt submarines. You train, you learn how to do it really good. You don't listen to training, you don't do it very good at all. All right. So I got trained up to be a sonar tech. I spent 14 months in schools before I got to see my first ship. When my first ship, it's now been decommissioned, the USS Stein, Knox class frigate. Great ship, great place to learn how to grow up to be a sailor. My first assignment, my first sea duty. All right. As I grew up and as I made my way through the ranks, I found out some things. There's some certain things you could tell on how a sailor is a seasoned sailor or is a newbie. Now, as you get older and you stay on the ship, you go around, you get the newbie status slowly wears off or quickly wears off. It depends upon your level of intellect. Okay. I try to be nice about this, but I'm not probably going to do a very good job of it. If you were smart enough to pull your head out of your ass long enough and put your boots on straight, you're smart enough to be a seasoned sailor. Now, if you didn't want to be a seasoned sailor and you want to be a hard head and you're going to be a dumbass all the time, we had no problem. We could help you out with that. We had ways to help you out. And it was ways that we did it so we can enjoy ourselves at the same time. I mean, don't get me wrong here. We're gonna have some fun with it also. But one of the things we used to do is when we get underway, and we're going to be underway for a while, and we know we're going to be at rough seas, we would take the time, sonar techs anyway, would take the time to build what we called the BARFOMETer. Now, some of you, as soon as I said that, your eyes lit up and you're like, oh, I know what this is. Okay, so don't blow it for the rest of them. Just let me explain it. All right. It was usually a big old piece of construction board, thick piece of construction board with a compass written on it. It was about 290 degrees of, I don't know if I can see, a 290 degree arc on there. And the board usually was about, well, it depends. If we get a 3 foot by 3 foot, it was perfect. 3 foot by 3 foot piece of cardboard or board was perfect. And we dragged that 290 degree arc in there, and we'd have something heavy on the end, like a weight. Sometimes if we had somebody that in our division that was fishing, that liked to fish, he had a fishing weight. So we tie a fishing weight on a piece of string and to the bottom of that line, that arc, and we tie it, pin the string to the board. So now there, okay, you had the board. Let's see if I can draw this out here. All right, the board was, shit, that was done. Trying to do a show and tell here, ain't too good. You know what? I need a white paper. Oh, never mind. All right, we do the board. We draw on there, okay, and let's see if I can do this the right way here. Okay, there, and there. All right, crude but effective. Okay, y'all see that? All right, there's the board itself. There's our 290 degree arc. Okay. Right there was where you tied the string off at. String and the weight. Now, once the ship started getting underway, we would situate this board to where it was facing forward and it was side to side. So we'll call it a fourth ship. Okay. Damn, that was jumping. But we'd start getting underway and we start rocking and rolling. This would be this way or we'll go this way. Now, depending on the tide, depending on the sea state, and depending on the weather coming up, this is how far that pendulum would swing, okay? And we normally would put this in sonar control. Now that's where all of our sonar equipment is, where we can track sonars, track submarines, and hunt them down and all that kind of stuff. Okay, we normally put them in sonar control, and our new guys would be somehow, I don't know what it was, but they would get entranced with the BARFOMETer, and they watch this thing go back and forth. And if they watched it long enough, and they had a little tiny tender tummy, you see them, they sit there and, through one shade of green, you're looking at them like, okay, this guy's got a possibility. And then on the side, we made this meter for one reason only. Well, two reasons, okay? Two reasons. One, we wanted to watch somebody barf. We wanted to see who new guy would barf. And one of the old ones would barf. And some of the other guys too had a weak stomach, couldn't handle it. Want to see them how quick make them barf. Second reason was we were betting. We got to have something to do. Sailor's going to make something. Always thought we had a slide job. Okay, so we bet on who was going to barf. It come down to who was going to turn green first, who was going to turn, make a dart for the door, who wouldn't make it, who would do this, that. It went from A to Z. We were betting on it. Okay, we were betting on this thing. So we put that BARFOMETer in the sonar control. And normally our chief would say, okay, it looks funny, but don't take it outside of sonar control. So we would, no more time. Okay, so we did this a few times, and little side bets here and there. They make a sailor stand there. New guy. He wasn't gonna. The ones that really want to see if they could fit in. Thought they had to how to make a statement. Show how tough they were. We're gonna see how tough they were. We're just messing with them a little bit. All right. And the egotistical ones, that's the ones we played with the hardest. So we sit there and watch them, and they sit in their little spot in sonar control. They're doing their watch, and they turn green. And they watch this. And they sit there watching this BARFOMETer. And a little weight at the end, and sliding one way or the other, and it got back and forth. All right, and it was usually we did this was after an evening chow, because it was a perfect time. You got a belly full of food, you're nice and sleepy, and you're watching a pendulum slide back and forth. Now, if that ain't perfect ingredients for a barf, I don't know what is, especially when you get a sea state of 3 or more. Now, in order, back to the BARFOMETer, sliding back and forth, slowly as the ship is rocking or rolling, okay? See the person turning green. Could be male or female. My first ship was male only. Okay, back then it was combat. Females were not allowed on combat ships at that time, so it was males only. So the dude was sitting there turning pale, and then he turned green, and the good ones, the really ones and good ones, would sit there going, "Can I go?" They bark out, "Permission to leave sonar control." And of course, as you're the sonar supervisor, you'd be like, okay, what for? You messing with him because you knew exactly what it was for. The boy was turning 4 shades of green. He was ready to blow off for us. That was good. I got to go use the restroom. Okay, go ahead, knock it out. Boom, make a deep beeline straight to the head. And we had a little head right outside the bathroom. For all you don't know, they had a little head right outside the sonar control. We used it, and the warfare guys used it. And God help whoever was in there. That newbie was going to spray the walls. We prayed the newbie didn't spray the walls because it was a pain in the ass to clean. He just hope he hit the toilet. So then he'd go off, and boom, side bets are off. Boom, okay, you would do. And you always bet who, if you had more than one, you'd bet who would go first. All right, I always did it. Finally got that thing out of my mouth. All right, well, we did this. I think I was on the ship for like 2 years or so. And I just made E5, and I got qualified sonar supervisor. I got a wild heart mass. I was like, I'm bored. I got a wild heart mass, ODD, ADD, OCD. I got a perfection lane, but I also got a mean streak 3 miles wide, and I'm ornery as hell. So we thought, a couple of us together, we put the BARFOMETer in combat information, CIC. We had all the stuff happening at one time. Operations for air control were in there, the sea control. We fed information to them from the submarine warfare control. All the information came into combat information center. All of it. Okay, so you had people everywhere. You had at least 20, 30 people in there at any given time during the operations. It was slow time. It was at least 15 or so. All right, we decided we were going to just nonchalantly pop that BARFOMETer right up there next to to what we call the plotters board. The plotters board has all this information popped up there, where targets and taking and stuff. We popped the old barfometer right next to it. Double-sided tape, pop, pop, pop. Okay. The senior chief of the space saw us do it. They're like, "What y'all doing?" I said, "We thought we'd share our barfometer with y'all." He thought it was an outstanding idea. He's like, "Yeah, cool. Go ahead, knock yourself out, sugar ray. You put it right there. That's a perfect spot." We're like, okay, cool. Thanks, senior. We put it back up. We haul ass. All right. But inside the combat, we had a little space over there in our fire control center, which is where I was a technician of. We had a fire control area there behind a big old curtain, big old green curtain. We called it curtain of death. The big green curtain hid everything. Trust me, it hid everything. I got stories there for days for that one. So we had somebody go up there and man the curtain for about 10 minutes or so every hour. So just check the barfometer and check in with our point of contact, see who's getting green, who's there. Because again, we're betting. All right, we are betting, doing side bets. We're doing bets with the operations specialist guys. We're everybody in that combat area, along with Sergeant Control. We're betting to see who's going to barf first. We're bored. We have nothing to do. We're chasing submarines, and them damn submarines were hard as hell to catch. All right, we haven't figured it out. We got the best submarines in the fucking world, and that means that if we can't find them motherfuckers, no one can, and we're busting our ass trying to find them. So in the meantime, we gotta have some fun. So we put the barfometer up. We're watching. Sea state's supposed to get a little rough that day. Well, thank you for Mother Nature. Later on that evening, I got off watch. I had the next watch I had was in the early morning watch, 4 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, my next watch. So I get up there, I'm up there because I got bets. I got some serious cash on these dang things. I want to see who's doing and who's not. I get up there, check the charts. Everybody got it written down. Got the little log we got in there. We call it the bitch log. We got the little bitch log, the barfometer run tally. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, all right, cool. You get some things. Like, all right, some guy, my number one guy dived off, and whatever it was. You just checked it. So I go up to combat. Normally for your pastime, you go to combat information center. You can hold the combat information, got point of contact, see what's going on in combat. Just get a guy. I get an idea of the big picture. So we do that. Another thing is we had to go up to the pilot house where they actually drove the ship. We had a thing in here called the exobath therm, XBT drop. It was basically a thermostat, it was a sensor that measured the temperature of the water, and had a big ass weight on it. Copper wire. All it did was take the temperature of the water as far down as we could go. Now, in the Pacific Ocean, there are some spots where it'd go past 700 feet, 900 feet, 1,200 feet, 1,500 feet, and keep going. Okay. We took measurements at 400, 500, or 5,000 feet once, because that's how much reel. I don't think we had like 10,000 feet of reel, and we take all that. So we take that information here. We took all that information right down. Boom, boom, boom. As I'm coming back down from my daily watches, I'm coming in. I go in combat control. I go knock on the door. Permission to enter combat, because you always had the information, because everybody had to know who was in combat at that time doing what, right? So I come in there. They said, state your business. So I'm crossing through, going to Sergeant Control and Sergeant Supervisor. Go ahead, knock yourself out. I make it about halfway through combat, and I hear the distinct sound of, and my ears perk. Whew. I look, and it's my number one guy. He's about to hurl. Yeah, you couldn't have seen the biggest grin on you wouldn't have seen a bigger grin on the face than me. When I sat around looking at him as my number one guy, my books in there, he's about to hurl. I'm looking around, I'm like, yeah. So I deliberately slowed my pace, because normally I'm just hightailing across there. I'm getting where I gotta go. I deliberately slowed my pace. Now, my fire control center is right there behind the big green curtain. I grabbed the big green curtain, and I slowly opening up the big green curtain, making it look like I'm going back there checking it. I'm not. I'm checking out my number one guy. See, he be going wolf. And about 2 seconds later, I hit the golden jackpot. Boom! There he goes. Blah! And I'm like, and I'm the only one in combat. And he goes, yes! As soon as I said yes, everybody turned to look at me like, oh shit. boom, out the door. I go running in this sort of girl. I was like, pay up, motherfuckers, I just won. And they're like, what are you talking about? I said, my number one guy just hurled. I'm like, no way. So they had to go up there, and we were all very, very professional about it. We had to supervise, it had to be verified and everything else. One of the guys goes in there and talks to the combat point of contact. He wasn't in there 10 seconds. He walks in, walks back out. He goes, that son of a bitch is right. He barfed all over the place. We got to pay him up. And I was like, yes. I won about $150 that day just because everybody's betting me the guy wouldn't barf. That son of a bitch, you made me so proud. I was happy as pig as shit. So, as one, the BARFOMETer was the best thing that I had. We had one of the best things. I would say not the best, but one of the best things that we had to play with as sailors when we were bored. Yeah, it was picking on the new guys, or we pick on the weak stomach guys, but that's just the way it was. It wasn't no harm intended to it. That's just the way you used to have a little fun. If you were dumb enough to get entranced to that BARFOMETer, I did it once myself, didn't barf, boy, I felt close. You sit there and you get tranced by that thing. You watch that thing go back and forth a while. You're like, hey, wait a minute. Zoom, everything goes out the window. You get into that thing. So, it just, one of the things we did, and it was great. Like I said, I'll share more stories with you later, and we'll have some more fun. And this is Chief Gen X, and I'm out.